At this moment, if someone from the ancient star of antiquity were to witness the Grand Elder of the Flash Thunder clan, who once stood high above and never easily bowed even before a third-step great power, they would surely find it unbelievable. Wang Lin, holding a 7-foot-long sword, could clearly feel that this sixth sword was several times stronger than the previous 5. Within it, a surge of monstrous resentment faintly appeared. The intensity of this resentment even shook Wang Lin to his core. In his early years, he had collected resentment, but compared to the resentment within this sword, those were insignificant. The moment the sixth sword was swung down, as the heavens and earth roared, Wang Lin's pupils suddenly contracted. He saw spirits materializing out of the void. These souls were unlike the spirits of living beings he'd encountered before. They were imbued with an overwhelming amount of resentment, a resentment that shook the very heavens. In an instant, these souls, filled with boundless resentment, seemed to be summoned from the vast void, appearing in the heavens and stars. Each spirit briefly materialized, both male and female, their eyes brimming with endless malice and hatred. Amidst their piercing wails, they fused together, surrounding the sixth sword's radiance. In that instant, the sixth sword took on a horrifying and awe-inspiring form, an immense, world-shaking blade of vengeance. This was the sword of resentful immortals. Forged from the accumulated resentment of countless souls, who had been obliterated by heavenly tribulations across 7 million realms, they had perished, their souls scattered, but their resentment remained, struggling within these realms. They were unwilling to dissipate. At the moment of their deaths, they had vaguely come to understand everything. They resented the immortal realm, they resented the immortals. Now, with the sixth sword, these long-extinct resentful spirits were summoned forth, appearing to devour immortals and unleash their pent-up fury. As Wang Lin's sixth sword struck down, the sword's radiance howled toward the Grand Elder of the Flash Thunder clan. The resentful souls seemed to find an outlet for their rage, transforming into the sword of resentful immortals and crashing down relentlessly. Before the Grand Elder could even retreat further, he was utterly unprepared. Severely wounded and with his lifespan nearly exhausted, he was instantly engulfed by the endless torrent of resentful souls. The thunderous roars shook the heavens. The Grand Elder's screams echoed, his body overwhelmed by countless resentful souls. They began to devour him frantically. In mere moments, the blood and flesh of his lower body, which had been rapidly regenerating, were completely consumed. Even his shattered bones were devoured. His upper body, now shrouded in a sea of boundless resentful souls, was consumed piece by piece. The pain was unbearable, and his screams grew more wretched. Each bite from these souls, filled with endless hate, tore away at his flesh and blood. In the blink of an eye, the Grand Elder's entire body was devoured clean, his bones shattered and consumed. Only his thunder-infused essence spirit remained. But even now, that essence spirit was being devoured by the resentful souls. Under this extreme agony, the Grand Elder of the Flash Thunder clan lost his sanity. His painful roars echoed out, his entire body crackling with thunder as it exploded outward, sending waves of resentment flying. Yet more and more souls came surging toward him, unwilling to stop until they had consumed him entirely. Die, die, die. You all will die. The Grand Elder of the Flash Thunder clan roared in fury, retreating furiously. His essence spirit's clan mark on his forehead exploded in a violent burst. This explosion shattered his clan mark completely, and an overwhelming force surged forth, transforming into a thunderbolt that tore through the heavens and earth, sweeping the souls away. When the clan mark exploded, it was akin to a cultivator's self-detonation. However, because of their unique cultivation, those from the ancient star of antiquity did not immediately perish upon the explosion of their clan mark. Instead, they gained a temporary surge in power, allowing them to survive for a short period. At this moment, as the Grand Elder's clan mark exploded, his cultivation soared wildly, and his essence spirit formed a new body composed entirely of thunder. After annihilating all the resentful souls, his eyes became bloodshot, filled with madness, and he charged at Wang Lin. Die, die, die. All of you will die. I will sacrifice all my cultivation, all my lifespan and vitality. I will cast the 3-breath technique. You all will die. The 3-breath technique was not a skill of the Flash Thunder clan. It was an ultimate technique taught by mysterious cultivators who had passed through long ago. This technique belonged to the Taoist arts. In just 3 breaths, it could sever the lifespan of all enemies. But the price was steep. Once performed, the practitioner would have no chance of survival. It was a life-for-life technique. Even a third-step great power would find this technique terrifying, and this was precisely the reason why the Flash Thunder clan, despite lacking a third-step great power for tens of thousands of years, was still considered a major clan. In his madness, the Grand Elder raised his right hand and pointed toward Wang Lin in the air, snarling viciously. The three-breath technique. Die for me. All of a sudden, an indescribable aura erupted within the 7 million realms, surging madly toward Wang Lin. It was the power of Taoist arts. Wang Lin's expression changed drastically. This force was unstoppable and unbreakable. It descended in an instant. In that brief moment, his lifespan vitality stirred violently, as though it was being forcibly drawn out from within him. Everything happened too fast. In the blink of an eye, Wang Lin's mind surged with the image of the ancient stone gate from the Wind Immortal realm. The time art flared to life inside him with uncontrollable fury. Art of time, reverse 1,000 years. As the time art surged within him, Wang Lin raised his right hand and unleashed the seventh sword, the final sword. It soared skyward, the 7-foot-long sword flying from his hand, transforming into a radiant streak that pierced through the void. This final sword was unimaginably powerful. Its emergence shattered the starry sky and caused the entire 7 million realms to collapse. Deafening booms echoed endlessly as a cataclysmic scene unfolded. The 7 million realms shattered in countless places, stretching endlessly into fragments. On each fragment, countless cultivators and mortals willingly gave everything they had. A power unlike anything ever seen in the 7 million realms, a strike infinitely close to, or even surpassing, the third step, erupted with earth-shattering force. Even someone like the Waterpath Master would be horrified before this sword, fleeing without hesitation. Should he be struck, death was certain. The sword aura streaked across the sky like a rainbow. No matter how the Grand Elder of the Flash Thunder clan tried to escape, he could not avoid it. In a heartbeat, the sword aura slammed down. The Elder spat out a breath of essence spirit, and his freshly reformed lightning body exploded violently. His essence spirit had no chance to flee. It was pierced through by the sword aura. A wretched scream echoed across the heavens and earth as his spirit rapidly dissolved and his body was hurled backward by the impact. Facing imminent death, the Grand Elder's eyes flew wide open as he unleashed a final, desperate roar. Eternal Holy Thunder, save me, save me. At that very moment, the rampaging indestructible thunder beyond the storm paused as if responding to its servant's dying cry. The thunder boomed even more furiously, swelling in an instant into a colossal divine thunderbolt, nearly 10,000 zhang thick. It barreled toward the storm. Its power skyrocketed, and with a thunderous crash, the storm-forged seal began to tremble. After holding for so long, it suddenly crumbled. Cracks spread across the storm's boundary, growing wider and more numerous until the entire storm shattered with a tremendous roar, scattering in every direction. The spirit dispersion sage coughed up blood and was forcibly expelled from his fusion with the 7 million realms. At that moment, the indestructible thunder surged into the realm with unimaginable speed, arriving just before the dying Grand Elder, colliding head-on with the sword aura. The sword aura trembled, threatening to collapse. Yet within it was the physical form of the 7-foot-long sword, which now erupted forward, clashing violently with the indestructible thunder. In that same instant, the spirit dispersion sage formed a seal with both hands, his body swelling with power as he let out a low, ferocious roar. With the destruction of the 7 million realms, the day of our clan's liberation has come. All tribesmen, all living beings, together we shall shatter the immortal realm. The shattered realm turned into countless broken continents. All living beings still surviving offered up their lives without hesitation, pouring their very essence into the 7-foot sword. Together with the indestructible thunder, the ultimate battle began. The 7-foot sword embodied all the power of the 7 million realms. The indestructible thunder was the sacred artifact of the Lightning Thunder clan. The clash between these two forces symbolized the resolve of everyone in the 7 million realms to break through all barriers. The thunderous explosion that followed echoed across the starry heavens. The magnitude of the sound was immense, splitting open the ends of the surrounding worlds with enormous cracks, until even the edges of space itself collapsed. From that collapse, chaotic flows surged in, pouring into what was once the 7 million realms, hastening its final destruction. At the same time, the 7-foot sword, gathering all things, shattered, scattering into countless fragments. But likewise, the indestructible thunder was gravely wounded. With a final thunderous boom, it ceased to pay attention to the Grand Elder. It retreated in haste, tore through the void, and vanished without a trace, returning to the sacred temple of the Lightning Thunder clan. Simultaneously, on the 16 cultivation stars of the clan, a heaven-shaking formation was automatically activated, beyond the control of any cultivator, to prevent all outsiders from entering even a single step. Surviving clansmen, the immortal realm has opened. The world is collapsing. We march out. The spirit dispersion sage's eyes blazed with excitement. With a sweep of his sleeve, he gathered all remaining beings of the 7 million realms into a massive storm that surged through the rift left by the retreating indestructible thunder, thundering forth into the void. Wang Lin's gaze flickered, and the Kunji whip suddenly appeared, swiftly slashing toward the Grand Elder's essence spirit, who had already lost all resistance and was on the brink of death. At this moment, only a fragment of the shattered essence spirit remained, with most of its memories dissipated and even its consciousness blurred. On the verge of vanishing from the world, it was swept up by Wang Lin's Kunji whip, which glowed with golden light, immediately pulling the broken essence spirit forcefully. Once the Kunji whip transformed into a golden beam, it could change in length at will. With a single pull, the once mighty and untouchable Grand Elder of the Flash Thunder clan was seized by Wang Lin's hand. This Grand Master, a fifth decay of heaven and man stage cultivator, whose essence spirit was a step away from becoming a powerful being, was someone Wang Lin could not afford to let go. Killing this being was no small feat, and not only was its soul terrifyingly strong, but the essence spirit contained the power of the heavens and earth, along with insights into thunder. To outsiders, the Grand Elder's essence spirit was invaluable, akin to a celestial treasure, but in Wang Lin's hands, it was worth far more, by several times. It was almost like a stroke of fate. This essence spirit has great use for me. Wang Lin's body shimmered as the spirit dispersion sage, with the combined power of the 7 million realms, led them straight toward the void gap. At this moment, the 7 million realms were badly damaged after tens of thousands of years of war. They had become riddled with holes and were crumbling. As the world at the edges collapsed, violent storms raged, and destructive auras consumed everything in their path. These 7 million realms were originally crafted by others, but now, as dust returned to dust, everything faded into the void. The sounds of their collapse were like the tolling of a death knell, signaling the end of these realms. As Wang Lin left, his heart became clear. Though his time in the primordial star of antiquity had been short, he had absorbed the memories of many cultivators, learning that the Flash Thunder clan was a powerful lineage in the primordial star. The Grand Elder was like a king within the clan, holding absolute authority. Even within the primordial star, the Grand Elder was a renowned figure. Apart from a few rare third-step great powers, no one dared challenge him. Furthermore, the Flash Thunder clan had sacred artifacts placed in the sealing array, making the Grand Elder extremely important to the primordial star. His death would undoubtedly stir up a catastrophe. Even Tua Sin, despite having killed countless people during his years in the primordial star, had never encountered someone like the Grand Elder. After all, even knowing they would be defeated, very few people would choose to die. Usually, family members would act first, and individuals would use every means to escape. As such, the Grand Elder's death would shock the entire primordial star. Wang Lin was unsure whether the third-step great powers of the primordial star would be able to sense this event, but regardless, a great crisis awaited him. Especially with the exit of the 7 million realms, the Flash Thunder clan would inevitably face destruction, causing a world-shattering change. The collapse of a major clan was an event of great importance anywhere. Wang Lin's gaze flashed as he continued forward. Despite the overwhelming danger, he would not retreat. The thunderous roar of the collapsing 7 million realms gradually faded. This battle was more intense than his past confrontation with the Waterpath Master. While he had no ability to fight back against Waterpath Master, the Grand Elder was a different story. But the more powerful the opponent, the more difficult the battle. If not for teaming up with the Spirit Dispersion Sage, it would have been impossible to defeat this fifth decay of heaven and man Grandmaster. Through the void gap, the shimmering starlight ahead became clearer. In excitement, the Spirit Dispersion Sage led the remaining people of the realms, bursting out and entering the Flash Thunder clan's star domain in the primordial star. The moment they stepped into the star domain, 2 streams of tears fell from the sage's eyes. He laughed toward the sky, the sound filled with boundless exhilaration. Not only him, but all the remaining cultivators and mortals of the 7 million realms, under the sage's protection, would not die due to their cultivation or physical condition under the stars. They had witnessed everything, stepping out of the 7 million realms into the immortal realm, a place that had overshadowed them for countless years. The excitement they felt could not be expressed in words. This is the immortal realm. This is the world where immortals decide our fates. From now on, Our people will call themselves immortals. Since there are Flash Thunder Clan and various other lineages, our immortal clan should also exist here. The Spirit Dispersion Sage's laughter grew louder, but as he laughed, tears began to flow. It wasn't just him. All the people from the 7 million realms cried as well. Their countless years of hardship were beyond the comprehension of outsiders. Especially the cost of their freedom, 90% of the 7 million realms had died to earn it, brought them overwhelming sorrow. From now on, we are free. Wang Lin silently watched the Spirit Dispersion Sage and others, hearing their words, seeing their jubilant smiles and tears. In his heart, he couldn't help but sigh. He raised his head in silence, gazing at the starry sky of the primordial star, yearning for a gaze that could pierce through everything, reaching into the infinite expanse of the heavens to see what lay beyond the stars. Really, have I broken free? After a long while, Wang Lin lowered his head, murmuring to himself. In his mind, the memories of that night in the Cloud Sea Star domain resurfaced, when he, Lu Yun, and Li Qianmei sat together, discussing the Tao. The heavens and earth form a circle. Even if one steps out of a circle, there are countless invisible circles beyond. How could one ever truly escape? The Spirit Dispersion Sage gradually calmed the excitement in his heart, turned to Wang Lin, and immediately cupped his hands, his expression deeply sincere. Your kindness, fellow Taoist, I, Spirit Dispersion, will never forget. My entire immortal clan, for generations to come, will never forget. Whatever you ask, our immortal clan will march through fire and water. No one will dare to disobey. After Spirit Dispersion spoke, the remaining few million members of his clan, whom he had protected, looked at Wang Lin with deep gratitude, cupping their hands in respect. Our immortal clan will march through fire and water. No one will dare to disobey. With a wave of Spirit Dispersion's right hand, a thunderous display erupted from his palm, transforming into 10,000 spirit thought thunders, all flying toward Wang Lin. This is a gift to fellow Taoist. Wang Lin's expression remained calm as he waved his sleeve, collecting all the 10,000 spirit thought thunders. This was rightfully his, even though each bolt of thought thunder represented the life of a tribulation crossing cultivator. The Flash Thunder Clan has been wounded by the indestructible thunder. If I were to attack them again and devour their indestructible thunder, how will you all respond? Wang Lin's gaze fell upon the Spirit Dispersion Sage. A murderous intent flashed in Spirit Dispersion's eyes, and upon hearing this, he spoke in a low voice. This is perfect. I will never let the Flash Thunder Clan off. If I don't destroy them now, I will never avenge the death of 9/10 of my 7 million realms people who perished in order to break free. Wang Lin ceased speaking, stepping forward. His right eye shimmered with lightning as his entire form transformed into a streak of thunder. He was going in his true form now, far more powerful than when he once used a wisp of his essence spirit to possess another. The Flash Thunder Clan, only the first elder, who had reached the 5th decay of heaven and man, could make Wang Lin hesitate. Others, if their cultivation wasn't based on the Tao of Thunder, would still present some difficulty. After all, the Flash Thunder Clan still had 2 cultivators at the 4th decay of heaven and man. However, since they practiced the Tao of Thunder, even those at the 4th decay would not make Wang Lin fear them. In the Thunder cultivation battle, it all depended on one's control of thunder. Wang Lin had devoured 8 ancient thunder dragons, and now, with 10,000 thought thunders, even though he had not yet found a place to completely refine them, his thunder origin was already strong enough to shake the heavens and earth. Who could compare to his origin? Even those thunder cultivators at the 4th decay of heaven and man would be no match for him. Once the first elder is dead, the Flash Thunder Clan will no longer have any sharp fangs. A cold light flashed in Wang Lin's eyes as he moved faster and faster. Thunder rumbled, and he headed straight toward the massive defensive formation formed by the 16 cultivation stars of the Flash Thunder Clan. This battle must be swift. I must strike quickly, devour the indestructible thunder, and leave immediately. As Wang Lin took a step, the heavens and earth rumbled. All around him, thunderbolts began to manifest, converging toward him, wrapping around his body as if he were an emperor, surrounded by an army of thousands. This was because Wang Lin's thunder origin was so powerful that it attracted all the thunder in the starry sky, which naturally gathered around him. The number of thunderbolts grew, the area widening with each moment. In just a moment, the thunder surrounding Wang Lin seemed like a thunder domain, covering the sky and earth, forming an overwhelming thunder might. Even the heavenly tribulation would pale in comparison. At this moment, Wang Lin's thunder power was so immense that if any outsider saw him, they would surely be shocked. Even a third-step great power would be stunned by his presence. In the ancient legends of the world, there was a long hidden tale, a secret passed down through the ages, about how one becomes a third-step great power. The tale spoke of how a cultivator could grow their origin through the power of disciples' faith, gradually nurturing it until they could open the gates of heaven and earth. This would cause their origin to reach perfection, bringing about a transformation that would allow them to break free from the mortal realm and become a third-step great power. After this, they would no longer be a mere cultivator but a true great power. However, fewer people knew that even older than this legend, another story existed. In this older tale, a cultivator did not rely on faith or external forces to reach the third step. Instead, by relying on their own insights, they followed a method that no one knew, gathering their origin to perfection and smashing the gates of heaven and earth, becoming a third-step great power that would shock the world. After reaching the third step in this manner, they would become a living legend within the third step itself. Wang Lin's cultivation was gradually drawing closer to this legend. Behind Wang Lin, Spirit Dispersion, who had been observing, was stunned as he witnessed this. After the battle with the Flash Thunder Clan's first elder, he had clearly realized just how powerful Wang Lin was. His myriad divine abilities were comparable to the abilities needed to seize the very forces of creation. Now, as he stepped out of the 7 million realms, every movement of his triggered a resonance with the thunder of the heavens and earth. The roar of the heavens could be heard as the thunder surged once again, causing Spirit Dispersion to look on in awe. Wang Lin's expression was cold and detached. As he continued moving forward, he drew closer to the protective grand formation formed by the 16 cultivation stars of the Flash Thunder Clan. As he sped ahead, the immense thunder domain around his body howled and spread out, producing a deafening roar. Inside, the thunder roamed, lightning flashing blindingly. Moments later, the protective formation of the Flash Thunder Clan appeared at the edge of Wang Lin's sight. The formation, made up of 16 cultivation stars, emitted a blue light. This light spread out, forming a circular barrier that enveloped the Flash Thunder Clan. Even before Wang Lin got near, he could hear the booming sounds coming from within the blue light, as if the ethereal glow had solidified in the blink of an eye. At a visible speed, the blue light took shape, resembling an eggshell, surrounding the Flash Thunder Clan. If this shell were broken, the clan would be torn apart, laid bare before Wang Lin's eyes. A cold light flashed in Wang Lin's eyes. His body suddenly halted 1,000 feet away from the formation. With both hands outstretched, he grasped the boundless thunder domain that surrounded him. With a low growl, he forcefully swept his hands upward. The heavens and earth roared, thunder raging, and the ground trembled violently, seemingly tilting. If one were to look down from above, they would see that the thunder domain around Wang Lin was like a vast ocean, now tilting at an incredible angle under his immense power. Wang Lin's ancient god star mark at his brow spun, his forearms bulging with veins. Another low roar erupted from him as he lifted his arms with great force. The thunder surrounding him intensified, roaring louder, and, with a mighty crash, the thunder domain, which had been spread out, stood upright. It was as if a mirror had been tilted, or an ocean had been made vertical, revealing itself within the starry sky. The Spirit Dispersion sage's pupils contracted, and he instinctively took several steps back, his eyes fixed on Wang Lin. It wasn't just him. Inside the Flash Thunder Clan, everyone had already sensed the arrival of a powerful enemy. All the heavenly decay cultivators rushed out of the sacred land, focusing their gaze on Wang Lin outside the formation. Upon seeing Wang Lin's face, their hearts pounded, their expressions drastically changing. Previously, outside the Flash Thunder Clan's sacred land, although Wang Lin had seized a non-physical body, when he tried to break the sacred land's defenses, his original form had emerged, revealing his true appearance to the clan. And now, though the Grand Elder was still in pursuit, Wang Lin had arrived, causing widespread panic and speculation among the Flash Thunder Clan's members. Every theory made their hearts sink with fear. The Grand Elder's cultivation is peerless. He will surely be fine. He must have been diverted by this person or someone assisting him. That's why he's come to break the formation. We don't need to panic. If we hold the formation for a while, the Grand Elder will return. That's right. With the Grand Elder's strength, only a third-step great power in our ancient stars can contend with him. Furthermore, the Grand Elder possesses numerous divine abilities and treasures. He'll be fine. But the immortal sacred thunder suddenly left, and when he returned, he seemed much weaker. The formation has activated without control, and inside the formation, the Flash Thunder Clan members had darkened expressions, staring at Wang Lin outside. But they still believed that the Grand Elder would be fine and would return soon. Wang Lin raised his arms as though carrying the massive thunder domain. His eyes suddenly flashed with a strange light, and he spoke slowly. Merge with my primordial thunder dragon's soul and spirit. In my name, Wang Lin, I command you to unite the 8 dragons as one. Along with my primordial thunder dragon, 9 dragons return to their rightful places. Destroy the formation and devour the thunder. Wang Lin's voice echoed across the heavens and earth. In an instant, a blinding flash of lightning erupted from his body, surrounding him entirely as he plunged into the upright thunder domain. The thunder domain, like a mirror, trembled with thunder. A deafening roar reverberated from within, and at the same time, a massive dragon's head, filled with fury and viciousness, along with a tidal wave of destructive flames, shot out from the thunder domain. The dragon's head was enormous, its scales tinged with a deep blue. It looked terrifying, exuding destructive fire that seemed to belong to the evil thunder demon dragon. With a mighty crash, it tore through the sky. The dragon's head alone was more than 10,000 feet in size, and with every roar, it emerged more fully. Its massive body followed, and soon after, the entire dragon emerged from the thunder domain. The thunder domain grew smaller and smaller, until it vanished into the starry sky as the dragon's tail struck with great force. A thunderous dragon, nearly 100,000 feet long, descended into the world. This dragon, a manifestation of Wang Lin's soul after devouring the souls of 8 primordial thunder dragons, was now an ethereal entity. Though ethereal, it contained unimaginable thunderous power. Within the massive dragon, 9 souls clashed violently, devouring each other. However, one soul stood out as the most powerful, relentlessly suppressing the other 8. The 10,000 zhong-sized thunder dragon roared, lightning flashing across its head. Wang Lin's figure materialized above it, stepping onto the dragon's head. His expression was chillingly indifferent as he raised his right hand and pointed forward. With a single point, the massive thunder dragon roared in fury and charged forward with the force of 10,000 June, heading straight toward the Flash Thunder Clan's protective grand formation. 1,000 zhong distance was nothing to the thunder dragon. In the blink of an eye, its gigantic body slammed into the barrier. The sound of the collision rang out like thunder, shaking the very heavens and earth, and the shockwaves spread out in all directions. The protective grand formation rumbled with loud cracks, and suddenly, deep fissures appeared across its surface. The eggshell-like formation couldn't withstand the force of the impact and was on the brink of collapsing. A wave of astonished gasps echoed from within the formation. The Flash Thunder Clan members stood stunned, their eyes filled with terror and disbelief. But what they felt more than anything was disbelief. The Grand Elder of the Flash Thunder Clan's physical body has already collapsed, and his essence spirit was captured alive by me. Even your clan's indestructible thunder was wounded and had to retreat. Do you think this mere protective formation can stop me? Wang Lin's cold voice rumbled like thunder, clearly cutting through the formation, reaching every single member of the Flash Thunder Clan. The moment they heard his words, their bodies shuddered, disbelief written all over their faces. Impossible. This person is trying to shake our spirits. How could the Grand Elder, with his supreme cultivation, possibly be defeated by this person? Ridiculous. Your words are far too boastful, and there's not an ounce of truth in them. The Grand Elder's cultivation is supreme, and unless a third-step great power is summoned, no one can defeat him. Even if a third-step great power were here, the Grand Elder has countless divine abilities and treasures. His life is safe. Arrogant. Your words are laughable. If the Grand Elder falls, I will immediately self-destruct my cultivation and perish without your help. Laughable, laughable. Wang Lin's expression remained calm. The thunder dragon beneath him growled as its head lifted, and with a fierce roar, it smashed down again. With a deafening crash, more cracks appeared on the fragile formation, now on the verge of collapse. The thunderous booms shook the world as the thunder dragon went into a frenzy, its head repeatedly smashing downward, its body shifting as its tail whipped violently. Amid the earth-shattering collision, the formation could no longer hold up. In the brief moment the dragon's head collided once more, the formation shattered into countless pieces, tearing open a massive gap. The thunder dragon roared, and its head plunged through the gap. Its enormous size made it impossible for the formation to hold, and most of the Flash Thunder Clan cultivators instinctively retreated. The Spirit Dispersion Sage's eyes flickered as he followed the thunder dragon's charge. With a single step, He entered the Flash Thunder clan's domain, his expression filled with hatred as he moved forward, his pace determined. This person's cultivation is merely shattered nirvana, yet somehow he can unleash the power of heavenly decay tribulation. Let's attack together and destroy him immediately. The true threat is the bald cultivator in the fourth decay of heaven and man. Stop him from advancing. Among the Flash Thunder clan, there were 11 cultivators at the heavenly decay tribulation stage, and now, 7 of them rushed directly toward the spirit dispersion stage, with the leader being one of the 2 in the fourth decay. Meanwhile, Wang, with another cultivator from the fourth decay leading the charge, moved swiftly to block his path. Without the Grand Elder, the Flash Thunder clan, no one can stop me. Wang shook his head. He wasn't interested in wasting time with these cultivators. His goal was to consume the indestructible thunder as quickly as possible. The thunder dragon beneath him shifted, its colossal body surging into the heart of the Flash Thunder clan, crashing forward with an earth-shaking force. The clan members who tried to stop Wang's advance turned pale and staggered backward. The Grand Elder will be back soon. We must hold them off at all costs. Once the Grand Elder returns, they will surely die. The Flash Thunder clan cultivators' eyes were bloodshot, and even those retreating were charging forward, fearless of death, some even activating their clan marks in a desperate attempt to trap and kill Wang. They could not believe that the Grand Elder had truly fallen. They were confident that he would return soon, and with the Grand Elder there, the clan would not face catastrophe. The Grand Elder was the spiritual pillar of the entire Flash Thunder clan. Wang sneered as his Thunder Dragon pressed forward. He raised his right hand, and the Kunji whip appeared in the starry sky of the Flash Thunder clan. The whip shimmered with golden light and wrapped around a broken remnant spirit, the essence of the Grand Elder's essence spirit. Grand Elder. This, impossible. How could the Grand Elder be captured? Could it be that a third-step great power intervened? What he said was true. The Grand Elder's body collapsed, and his essence spirit nearly perished, leaving only this fragment of a spirit. Who is this person? The Grand Elder was defeated and captured in his hands, and the indestructible holy thunder returned weakened. The roar that erupted shook the heavens. The Grand Elder was the spiritual pillar of the entire Flash Thunder clan, revered as an ancestral deity. Wang's words were once doubted by them, but now, witnessing the Grand Elder's essence spirit with their own eyes, shock and horror filled their gazes. Their hearts trembled, and their sense of security collapsed. If even the Grand Elder had fallen, how could they possibly resist? All of this unfolded in an instant. As for the cultivators from outside the realm, Wang was merciless. Outside the protective Grand Formation, he first revealed that the Grand Elder had been captured. He was certain that, with the Grand Elder's authority, the clan members would not believe him. However, this would plant a seed. With a single strike, he shattered the formation. As the Flash Thunder clan's cultivators were momentarily disoriented by the breach, Wang immediately took out the Kunji whip. Without even a swing, merely using the Grand Elder's essence spirit, it was as though an invisible whip struck at the hearts of every Flash Thunder cultivator who witnessed the scene. The seed he had planted earlier instantly erupted. Just as Wang had predicted, chaos swept through the Flash Thunder clan. As the clan members were thrown into disarray upon seeing the Grand Elder's essence spirit, Wang's eyes flashed with a killing intent. His Thunder Dragon roared beneath him and charged forward. With a flick of his right hand, bloodlight flashed, and the invincible bloodsword swept out, rushing straight toward the fourth decay of heaven and man cultivator among the clan. This was the deadly trap Wang had set. In the instant the bloodlight flashed, its speed was unimaginable. Before the fourth decay cultivator could react, the sword pierced directly through his forehead with a resounding boom. A heart-wrenching scream echoed, shaking the heavens. The Flash Thunder cultivators snapped out of their stupor. Though this all happened in a short span of time, the cost was devastating. The fourth decay cultivator's forehead was torn open, and his body collapsed with a thunderous crash. His essence spirit shrieked and tried to flee, but it could not escape the bloodsword's speed. It was swiftly caught and pierced through again. Had it been any other time, had the cultivators not been in disarray, killing a fourth decay of heaven and man cultivator, even as a thunder cultivator, would not have been so easy. It would have been challenging and would not have been this swift. But with the confusion in their hearts, Wang killed his target almost instantly. If it had been a non-thunder cultivator, Wang Lin would have had to fight harder. After all, his true strength could only defeat a third decay of Heaven and Man cultivator, but a fourth decay would still present some challenges. The scene unfolded too quickly. The Flash Thunder cultivators had not even had time to process the Grand Elder's fall when Wang Lin had already killed a fourth decay cultivator in an instant. Wang Lin's expression remained cold. He no longer cared about these people. The bloodlight flashed as the blood sword circled around him. Mounted on the massive thunder dragon beneath him, he charged forward. The surrounding cultivators, terrified, quickly retreated, not daring to stop him. These people are in turmoil. Spirit Dispersion Taoist, with your cultivation, it's enough. Wang Lin called as he pressed forward on his thunder dragon, heading straight toward the sacred land. The Flash Thunder Clan's sacred land was nestled between 16 cultivation stars. This was Wang Lin's second visit. His eyes gleamed with sharp intent as he approached the sacred land, his expression turning serious. Sitting cross-legged on the thunder dragon's head, he formed seals with both hands, causing his cultivation to surge. The power of his cultivation merged with the thunder dragon, becoming one with it. As his eyes filled with killing intent, the thunder dragon beneath him roared, shaking the heavens. Outside the sacred land, many Flash Thunder cultivators were present. However, upon seeing the massive thunder dragon, they froze in terror and quickly retreated. The roar of thunder rang out, and the thunder dragon surged toward the sacred land, crashing with a resounding boom. The sacred land trembled. There was a protective formation, but under the intense impact, it shattered into countless fragments. The land of the sacred land quaked violently, its irregular edges collapsing into piles of shattered stones. As the land trembled and massive cracks tore through the ground, the Flash Thunder Clan temple at the center of the sacred land was shaken even more violently. The indestructible thunder, which had descended from the void upon the temple, weakened considerably. Yet, at the moment the thunder dragon shattered the formation, a thunderous boom came from within the indestructible thunder. A surge of lightning erupted, enveloping the temple, causing it to collapse into countless pieces. As the temple crumbled, the indestructible thunder seemed to sense the impending crisis. With a series of thunderous roars, it contracted rapidly, retreating toward the vast void. From afar, the starry sky twisted, and in an instant, a massive vortex appeared. Lightning danced and spun in the vortex, and the indestructible thunder was drawn toward the very center of the whirlpool, directly above it. Seeing the indestructible thunder was about to escape, Wang Lin suddenly stood from the thunder dragon, leaping into the air. In a flash, he closed the distance, reaching within 3 steps of the indestructible thunder. He was now located beneath the vast vortex. More than half of the indestructible thunder had already plunged into it with a thunderous roar, leaving only a portion outside. Without hesitation, Wang Lin roared and immediately reached forward with both hands, grabbing hold of the thunder that was trying to escape into the vortex. As soon as he grabbed it, he pulled down with all his might. "Come down!" A deafening rumble echoed, and a faint roar could be heard from within the vortex. A tremendous force surged outward, causing Wang Lin to spit out blood, unable to resist the overwhelming power coming from the vortex. The indestructible thunder, under the effect of this enormous force, extended deeper into the vortex, leaving only a small portion exposed, barely a few dozen yards. Wang Lin's body was being pulled by this immense force, as if it too was about to be sucked into the vortex. Wang Lin's face twisted with rage. He had spared no effort, lying in wait, battling fiercely, and ultimately killing the Grand Elder alongside the Spirit Dispersion Sage just to devour this thunder from the Flash Thunder Clan. But now, at this critical moment, the thunder was escaping. If it were fleeing through the starry sky, Wang Lin might have been able to chase it down. However, what he saw before him exceeded his expectations and imagination. He had no idea where the vortex led, but the aura emanating from within was utterly foreign to him, filling him with a deep sense of dread. This feeling made his scalp tingle, as though it were the same as when the Spirit Dispersion Sage had stepped into the 7 million realms for the first time, and saw what was known as the Immortal Realm. This indestructible thunder is mine, and no one can take it from me. Immortals kill immortals, gods slay gods. A rebellious thought surged within Wang Lin's heart. He had just gone through the baptism of countless lives in the 7 million realms, fighting for freedom and survival. At this moment, no matter where the vortex led, he would never allow anyone to snatch it from him. Ancient God Body, expand. Wang Lin's hands gripped the retreating indestructible thunder with all his strength. The ancient God Star mark on his forehead suddenly spun, and a tremendous roar echoed from within his body as his entire form began to rapidly expand. In an instant, he transformed into a nearly 1,000-yard tall ancient god true form. The 1,000-yard ancient god was earth-shattering. Wang Lin's arms swelled with unimaginable size, and his blood circulated at an incredible speed. His heart thudded with deafening force. Each beat made his blood flow faster, granting him ever-increasing strength. The ancient god star on his forehead spun into a whirlwind. The ancient god power exploded from every ounce of flesh and bone in his body, as if an indescribable storm was raging inside him. This storm fused with his heartbeat, creating a terrifying roar that shattered the heavens and earth. It exploded into a frenzy of power that surged down his arms. His veins bulged, and his face twisted into a grimace as he forcefully pulled downward once more. Down. A deafening roar filled the air as Wang Lin violently pulled backward, tearing the indestructible thunder from the vortex by 100 yards. Suddenly, an overwhelming force surged from the vortex again, as though it was desperately holding on to the thunder, contesting with Wang Lin. No one takes what is mine. Wang Lin snarled, his entire body trembling with rage. His heartbeats now shook the very heavens. The star mark on his forehead spun so rapidly that it was indistinguishable to the naked eye. Even his divine sense couldn't discern it. A far greater surge of ancient god power exploded from his body. With another roar, he pulled downward with all his might, and the world trembled. A furious roar echoed from within the massive vortex. With this final pull, the indestructible thunder was torn out from the vortex by several hundred yards. This scene left countless members of the Flash Thunder clan around the sacred land stunned, eyes wide with disbelief. Release it immediately. This thunder is not meant for one person to possess. If you persist in your folly, I will destroy you. A deep voice, as mighty as the will of heaven, rumbled from within the vortex, causing the ancient star of antiquity to tremble in response. At that moment, countless people in the ancient star of antiquity heard this voice clearly. On the Blue Silk Clan's Blue Mountain, Li Qianmei gazed calmly into the distance. Occasionally, a look of confusion and struggle flashed in her eyes, as though a memory she couldn't let go of, one she couldn't forget, was slowly awakening within her. Beside her, Blue Dream Dao Sovereign sighed softly. He stopped fiddling with his ancient zither and looked up, about to speak when suddenly, his expression changed drastically. He swiftly appeared outside his dwelling, levitating into the sky. His eyes glowed with cold light as he fixed his gaze on the endless starry sky.